I know this is annoying, but I really like it. I don't know why. It's not the worst elevator music ever. No, it's the best. It's the best, worst elevator music ever. It's absolutely amazing. Love it. Read this one too, please. There may be some swearing. I'll apologise now. It's not really loud. Welcome to Mad Trading. I'm your host, Mad Trader. Mad Trader? You what? And straight into a bit of a trade sesh. Let's do it. Over on Twitch, I was talking about a possible double bottom at 12,375. If that 375 broke, I'd be looking for a retest to 12,335 north, double bounce. The break above these highs would mean I'd get in to a long, or if it broke below the 50% fib, and it was a 50% fib of the previous day, Friday. We don't take Sunday as a trading day. Then we could look for a short opportunity. So that was on the DAX. Excuse me. Also looking at natural gas. So I have a order set already for natural gas for a long. Might be a bit of a punt. Looking at the daily, it's it looks as though it might want to go back up, but I don't think we've finished looking at this level yet, so we might fall over. Have a quick look at this level at 2060 odd, and then go back up again. Or we could just be in a channel. If we make it up past this 2460 and higher, then I'll be happy with that. But the whole point, I mean, if you were watching, listening last night, you know, the whole point of trading is to be able to do things consistently. If you lose a trade, you should be not happy. No one's ever happy, but you should be comfortable losing that money. And you've got to give a trade time. If you get into a trade, don't think it's going to go directly in your favour every single time you're going to make millions. You're not. It's not how it works. So on the 15-minute, I've noted that this is a level that maybe, possibly, could be getting broken, and if it does, my system tells me, my strategy, excuse me, gets me in, or tells me to get in, at a certain level above that break. Ooh, I love my sugary carbonated dark liquid. Until these lunatics start to sponsor me, I'm not mentioning them, but I think you can all guess what it is I'm talking about. Anyway, so yeah, if price breaks above this and holds above this for any lengthy period of time, it should then make its way up here, and this has been a 15-minute candle. That should continue up, and what I'm after is volatility. I'm after it to shoot up like this. It faffed about and it shot through here, shot through this this high here, this breakout on Friday, and I should have been on that. That would have been a really good one, but it continues up, it comes back down, and it consolidates back around where it first shot through, which I'm hoping it will do the same here, and then it continues on up. The thing is, you would normally, if you were to read stuff online, read things through, watch things on YouTube that tell you how to trade, and I'm not telling you how to trade, I'm just showing you what I do, what I know. But if you do watch things online that'll tell you all about it, they'll normally tell you that if there's a gap, that gap normally gets filled. So I've been waiting for this to come down, fill the gap, and then work its way back up again. And I've been waiting for that to happen on the hourly. That's not happened. So this might be a momentum push. In other words, it might be a there's no momentum to go down, but there's momentum to push up. A gap up above these highs on Friday at 3 o'clock, sorry, at 4 o'clock, just before the close. It was, it was looking like it might push up anyway. It did. It opened up Sunday high, kept on going, and now it's around about 2,400 round number, which is usually significant for the majority of traders. So I'm wanting this. This could be a gap up and momentum push upwards. If it was a gap up and close, it should have done it by now. If you look at previous gaps on a here you go. Here's a gap. So looks like it's falling down on this Tuesday. 9:30. 15 minutes later, it gapped up. Still fell over as it was going to do here, but it just gapped up and it closed that gap. That's not what we're looking for. Oh, here we go. So Friday into Sunday. Friday closed, it gapped down, it mooched around, and it came back up again to close that gap. It faffed about for a bit, faffed about for another couple of days, faffed about for a few more days, then finally on the Wednesday it broke below and just kept on going until a break of these highs here. So that's what we're looking at, that's what we're looking for. If we haven't gotten into this trade by 12 o'clock, I'm probably going to reconsider and have a think about it, but I'll leave on the 15 minute for now, just to have a look, see. I need to keep on looking back at the stream chat. Why am I not on the stream? Anyway, videos, live. Yeah. Go back, come on. Let's have a look, see. Why won't it, why can't I see the video? Go back, man. Okay. Let me have a look, see. Right. I'm live now. Ah, here we go. That's better. Right, so now I can see the chat. If anyone's watching, if anyone is, pop some questions in. I'll answer them as best as I can. Keep it clean. No offensive stuff, please. More about trading than anything else, but I'll also talk about kebabs, fizzy carbonated dark drinks, or cats. Gold. I was trying to be sarcastic towards one or two people. I've been trying to be sarcastic towards a type of trading, and that type of trading is trend line trading. And there was a chap I was talking to who had said that there's a 3-touch and bounce rule, that if price touches a trend line that you draw 3 times, the next time it bounces off would be a bigger move in the opposite direction of the trend line. So I just put a trend line up here. This was early this morning on Twitch, and it's broken through, and that would have been a decent breakout strategy, if I'm honest, of that trend. It's only on a 15 minute, but if we go to an hourly, we can see that it's got, even if we did it now, let me do that now. Go from there. Oh no, get away. No, in fact, I'll leave it there. Where is it? It's not that one. No, it's got to be. and that one. So from there to here. So starting there, 1 touch, 2 touch. There's no third touch. It's not moved on. If you're counting this as the first touch, so 1, 2, 3, it didn't bounce off. It continued on up. And this was this morning. This was 10 o'clock candle this morning. So gold, excuse me, might be continuing up, but it's still a lower high at the minute. So you've got a high, you've got a lower high, you've got a lower low and lower high, a lower low, still a lower high. It's on a downward trajectory. It's on its way down as far as I can tell. I don't really do gold on the short term. I'm a long-term gold trader, have been for a while. I've been bullish, or I've been north or long, however you want to say it, for some time. I'll only come out of that if and when the price breaks below this major green candle. So if we get that back down to 1436 or below, I'll probably be out. So that's gold, although I'm not really trading it per se. Then we were looking at oil. We'd said, although I need to cancel, I have cancelled, I need to get rid of it off the chart. Look for a possible double bottom at the 1 hour support entry if the breakout of consolidation at 600 to 6,015 for a possible long. And that still might be the case. This could just be people taking, or markets and big movers taking people into a short position before it rockets on off north. But we are only on a 15-minute. But yeah, to cancel that if it breaks the 1 hour support, and it certainly has broken the 1 hour support. And as other people online, and if you read books about it, will tell you, support becomes resistance, resistance becomes support. So now that it's broke through this support line, this 1 hour support, if it were to come back up again and touch it and make it, and show that it could be falling over again, that might be a good time to enter short. My system, my strategy doesn't do that. I don't follow that scriptive way of trading. I have a set strategy. My strategy will tell me exactly when to get in, when to get out, and where my stop should go. I'm not intelligent enough to work this stuff out on the fly. So I have a fully mechanical strategy that I should and do, and try and tell others who are doing the same thing excuse me, that you need to consistently follow your strategy. Consistency is key. You do the same thing every time consistently. Give the trade time to work out, to play out, to do what it's going to do, and you do it every single time, the chances are that you're going to win more points than you're going to lose. And that's the whole point. The name of the game is to make the money. Yes, I got it. And as I was saying last night, we don't talk about money, we don't talk about trades in a monetary term, we talk about trades in a percentage gain or the risk return ratio. If you've got a £100,000 retail account, which is, but let's just say that you've got that, and you make a 10% return in 1 week, that's the same 10% return of someone who's got a £5,000 account. If they make 10% return, they've still made 10% return. You don't look at it as, oh yeah, but sod you and your £5,000 account. I've got a £100,000 account. I've made X amount more thousands than you. Go away, small minion. That's not how it goes. Because the guys that are running major hedge funds, not major hedge funds, but the guys that are doing hedge fund trading, the ones that are running a small to medium-sized hedge fund started somewhere. They had to go somewhere, and I'm not. I'm not one of those people that's born into money. I'm not born into the financial industry. I'm not born into an area where I can look up to people for their support, trading wise. Maybe they were. I'm not entirely sure, but they had to start somewhere, and that somewhere was consistently making profits, consistently gaining percentage, consistently having a positive expectancy on their risk reward. So they risked one, lost one. Oh well, you're minus one. Next trade, you risk one, you make 3. So now you're positive 2. You're 2R. And you keep doing that. Minus 2, positive 4. Minus 1, positive 2, minus 1, minus 1, positive 2. And eventually, over the long term, because it's not a short-term game, this, over the long term, you make gains, you make money, and you can definitely make more than enough money for a few kebabs. So, back to it. Brent crude. I'll be looking. Well, I'm going to be getting rid of this. Actually, let me delete text. I'll move this down here. I still think that if it were to break back up above this, we could be on for a long if it breaks this consolidation. So I'm going to keep this going, move this to where I can see it. Then we've got nothing on the US dollar, Japanese yen, nothing on the euro pound, but we are looking at natural gas and the DAX. I do like the DAX. The DAX has been it's like a strange lover, really. It's that one that you don't always want to talk to, but when you do, you know you're going to get smashed out your face, have the best time of your life, and then you've got to leave in the morning. Obviously, if you're married, you can't do that. But it's a scary little mistress who plays with your mind, mucks you about a bit, and then gives you a nice little present as a leaving present. So for the DAX, we are looking at a double bottom in and around this monthly support. If it breaks that, it'll be the next fib for the day beforehand. I'll show you what I mean. So this day, Friday, a 50% fib of this candle is 12,335. That's not a strategy, by the way. Don't go away and think that's the strategy to play with. That's not. This is purely what I do in order to see where I might look for an entry. If we look on the hourly, which is where most of my trades do take place, this hourly candle is popping up. There's been a big red candle and some division candles, some candles showing it wants to stop where it is, but obviously the sellers are stepping back in again. And 15-minute where I'll probably jump on a trade if needed, if I get the signal. I'm still, I don't really care actually, but I'm still thinking that it might bounce off of here and shoot back up above. If not, it might trickle down, touch this 12,335, and then do exactly the same. But we'll let me move that to here. Boomalicious. So, if anyone's got any questions, please pop them into the chat box. I am going to shut up pretty shortly. This isn't a teaching session. I'm not going to teach you how to trade. I would give you, if needed, I would give you some pointers. That's fine, but I'm not your guru. I'm not the educator. Not that I don't want to be. Not that I don't like doing that. But it's not the be all and end all of telling people, oh, this is your strategy, that's what you should be trading. Go away and do that, and come back to me when you've lost all your money. That's not me. I'm happy to help. I'm not happy to tell you whether you're right or wrong to choose a strategy, and my strategy might not be for you. Mine is purely mechanical. I have no discretion at all. I set and forget most of mine. I don't get in at market. This natural gas one is a order that I've set. I set it way back. When was that? At it wasn't 4 o'clock. When did I set that? Let me look on my trade station. Let's have a look on this. Ding 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 ding. Oh, no, it doesn't tell you. But I probably set it around about 8:30-ish, give or take. And we'll see whether it plays out. But yeah, so if you've got any questions, queries, anything at all, stick it in the chat box, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Because it's just these two that I'll be looking at, and there's nothing happening at the minute. Unless you've got some questions, I'm going to shut up and leave you to it. Please feel free to continue watching the stream. It'll get into the trade, or it won't get into the trade. Leave it running in the background. You'll better see it before me. I've got things to do. It'll either get into the trade and then take me out, or take me up. I'm not bothered. And I'll see you on the other side. Thanks for watching. Don't go anywhere, because I'm going to leave this going. Stay mad. I'm back, people. What's been happening? Oh, not a lot. Okay. So, whilst I can't see who's on, who's watching, what I can do is go over a few more bits and bobs. Excuse me, stupid cough. So we're not really doing much on natural gas. We are slowly trickling up towards that line. Yeah, if we're not in by 12, I'll probably look at cancelling the order. But we'll look, see. You know, we'll think about it. This it just seems to be slowly too slow for my liking. I like a bit of volatility, as we all do. It's just too slow, and even then it might just make it up to R3 daily or 2460 and fall back over again. But my strategy tells me to do it, so I'll do it. Hourly setup with a big stop, and that's yes, it's only £1 a point. This is a small account. Someone's telling me to do an account, building up a small account. Talk of the devil. Bleeding phone. Yeah, talk of the devil, and that person shall appear. Strangely, he'd asked me to not do a small account builder, and it's not really for proof. I'm not trying to prove anything. I know that my system and strategy works. I know that what I do works. And it's trying to help people that are, you know, looking to make a bit of extra kebab cash. This isn't for, you can't day trade with a small account and take a wage from it. It doesn't work. It can't work like that. You can watch all the Instagram people that you want. You can follow thousands of other people on Instagram, and you know, they're telling you they're making 10, 20, 30 grand a day, a week, or whatever it is. Great, awesome, you know, good on them, well done. Me, however, I can only make money long term. So out of 10 trades, 3 or 4 of them might be winners. So that means that 6 or 7 of them might be losers. And the losers need to lose a set percentage. It can't be, you know, you can't put 25-50% of your total fund on each trade, because if you have 2 losers in a row, you're out. In fact, if you have 1 loser in a row, you're out, because you won't have enough money to put on the next trade. It's not just the money you're going to lose, it's the money you need in your account as backup in case that goes completely Pete-tong. Someone sticks a tweet out about you know, I don't know, a country, for instance, and they then say, right, all gas in our country is now half price, and then the price of gas will just drop out the sky. it's not about making fast money all the time. With a small account, you have to take small profits, and you have to take them over a long period of time. Whilst this is playing out, I'll show you what I mean. And whether this takes me or not, I'm not really bothered. And that's another thing as well. You need to give your trades time. This could take me in by 1 point. I could go to 2415.1 and I'm in. And then come all the way down to my stop and take me out for £100 loss. Oh well, that's what happens. That's what happens. So, but let's just look at another couple of trades. So let's take this, for instance. Gap up. It came all the way down to a half gap fill. Faffed about, and it was in this box, this area, roughly speaking, for a while. You know, it was in this box for a while. It then broke this box to the downside, and you could have taken, and your stop would have been probably up here or up here. Excuse me, sorry. You could have taken profits when it got down to this level, this next, interim support or resistance, and you would have made some money. You would have made, a good 1-to-1 probably on that. But if you'd have just given it time, if you'd have just left it alone, and you move your stop down to here, then you move your stop down to here, yes, you might have got caught here. You might have been taken out there. But if you weren't, by whatever miracle, you could have ridden this all the way down, and then you would have definitely been taken out on your stop here, at least. Pop up, take out. So you have to give trades time. It's not as simple as, I'm just going to take 40 points today and I'm going to take 30 points tomorrow, or I want to make 50 points every day. It doesn't work like that. I can't make it work like that. I don't know many traders that can make it work like that. Yes, there's strategies for that, but if you look at it, you're risking maybe 40, 50, 60 points to make 30, 40 points. So you have to win more times than you lose. With my mechanical strategy, that's not the case. I can lose up to 8 times in 10. I can have a 2 in 10 winning strategy. Now, that sounds ridiculous, doesn't it? That sounds mental. What the how can you win only 2 in 10 trades and still make money? Because my system tells me, my strategy tells me, if this is a breakout and I'm getting in here, at the minute I can't move it far left. I've got stuff on the left and I've only got 200 units. But if this is the box that I'm looking at and it broke below that box and I'm in, if I thought, oh dear God, that's going to go against me, and I took my mini profits or had a small loss, that's one of the 2 trades out of 10 that I've now missed. I'm not going to get that back. So you've got to leave it. You've got to give it time to grow. And as with a small account, when it gets to a certain area, which for me would be a major support or resistance area, I would take 75% profits, 70 to 75% profits, and then either move my stop to break even or bring it down to a sensible location and then let the rest run. And by let the rest run, I mean just leave it alone. And the next time my strategy gives me another entry, so let's say, for instance, if my strategy said this is a box now, this is a consolidation phase, when it breaks below here, you get back in, then I'll get back in. I've already got 25% of my old trade left. I'll stick a new trade on, gets me in here. Yes, it goes against me, but look, I leave it alone and it'll take me all the way down here. It doesn't make the next major support or resistance, which is down here at the weekly, and that is a possibility. It may well continue on to do that shortly. But as long as I've moved my stops to positive, I'm not going to lose any money. And remember, it's not about the money. It's about the process. It's about how and why you made that trade. It's about being consistent. It's about consistently doing the same thing each time. Flip-flopping about in between strategies on the same instrument on the same day is no good. You'll just break yourself. You'll break your bank and you'll just lose. If you take anything away from my streams, as I'm sure there are countless other traders out here on YouTube and Twitch who will say the same. If there's only a few things you take away from me, take these 3 things away with you. Pick a strategy and stick to it. Stick to that strategy. Stop flip-flopping about. That's number 1. Number 2, do the strategy consistently. You'll never know which one of your trades is going to be the monster trade. We had a monster trade on the DAX on Friday. I was streaming on Twitch. I'm helping another chap in his journey to become profitable. Not because he wants to take money out of the market, daily, weekly, monthly. He doesn't want to pay himself a wage. Much like myself, he wants to put that money away for some kebabs, a bit of spicy pizza day. Take him and his boyfriend off to wherever for a long weekend. If he wants to take money out of the market, he'll need a lot more in his account than he's got in now, and a lot more than I've got in my account. I could probably just about take a monthly wage from my trading. It wouldn't be comfortable, and I'd have to work a lot harder, and I don't like working hard. That's not my ethos. Keep it simple, mad trader. So you don't know which one's going to be the big winner, so let them run. Let them run. On a swing trading strategy on a daily basis, if your strategy had told you, or if my strategy had told me, let's go back up here, that, hold on a minute, this is a consolidation phase. This bit here, I can't do it obliques, but this bit here is a consolidation phase. If it breaks below this bit here, get in. So from that point there to that point there, if it breaks below, get in. Put your stop to that high there. That's a massive stop. That's over 200 points. Let me just see what that would have been. That would have been, get in there, over there. Oh no, 176 points. But look where it takes you. It takes you at least 1-to-1. At least 1-to-1. And if you'd have just moved your stop down a little bit, then when it broke down below here, move your stop down a little bit more. Then when it broke down, move your stop down to here, maybe on the Wednesday. Yes, you'd have been taken out, but you'd have been taken out in profit. And that's not a breakout. This is a high break. By my strategy, that's not a valid entry, but on yours it might have been. That's not a valid entry south. This is. There's the consolidation phase here. It broke below, keep going, get to a resistance point, bang. And the next major resistance point for me on natural gas is 1650. We're not going to see that for a while, I wouldn't have thought. And if you're looking at a 5-minute, which some people do, I can't trade 5 minutes anymore, but some people do trade 5 minutes. Let's have a look. See. This might have been a breakout north long. So as soon as price got above this, you could have gone into there, gone long, left it. You've got to give it time. There's a gap up, which we're talking about today, so that was last night, and now it's consolidating. Now there's every reason that will fall over and come back down, close that gap, and might even continue on down and take me out for a full loss. Very rare we get a full loss, but it might just take me into that trade, faff about a bit more, then shoot off up to 2460, which isn't a lot. Honestly, it's not a lot of money, but we don't talk about the money, we talk about the percentage gain. Let me put it back on the 15 so I can check it properly. So at the minute on natural gas we are, let's call it 10 away from an entry, and on the DAX we are nowhere near an entry. It didn't touch the monthly support resistance. If it were to continue up and break past that, then we might be looking for an entry long, but I can't think that's going to be with me anytime soon, not for a while anyway. But you know, I'll leave these running, and we'll see whether we can get these things playing. Is that a bit better? Is that more in the middle? Yeah, let me just faff with these now, move these about a bit. So that one there. That one there. Faff, oh, faffity faff. Faffity faff. What about this one? Let me move this one up. On that, move this over, and I'm going to have to change that music because that's doing my cheese in a minute. But anyway, let me make that bigger again, and let me make that bigger again. Boom. So I'm gonna change the music. I'm gonna leave this running for your viewing pleasure. Have a watch, people. You know, watch whatever you can. Take away from this stream whatever you need to help you in your trading journey. If I can help you in any way, shape or form, that would be part of my goal. And just in case anyone's, you know, thinking, oh yeah, it's all about the money. It's not about the money on YouTube or Twitch. If you were to look into the analytics of it and the payment side of life, for people like myself, entertainment class streams, certainly for financial entertainment, it's around about 2p per view, I think. Might not even be that, per video, per advert. Number one, I'm not even monetized. There's no advert. If you've seen an advert before watching this on YouTube, that's not for me, that's a YouTube thing. So all the revenue goes to YouTube. I'm not monetized. There's no adverts that I'll play. I'm not sponsored by anybody. I'm not doing shilling vids. In other words, I'm not here to sell you anything from another trader. I am purely here on Twitch and YouTube. I'm purely here to help, to put my view across. Because I if you are, let's say, early 30s, and you've not really got yourself a nest egg for the future, I was where you are. And I found trading, or trading found me, fun enough. I fell into it, and I made every classic mistake going, and I do mean every classic mistake going. I would flip-flop about with different strategies. I bought things off the interweb, and back then You know, this was just after ISDN had come in, so I was getting 128k. What? I wasn't even getting a meg. We're getting 128k. Youngsters these days have no idea what that's like. So I could be online all the time for an extortionate amount of cash, and I was. And I'd buy stuff off of eBay or wherever I bought it from for trading. You know, if I'd have actually followed what was on that CD, I would have probably made a shed pile of cash, and I mean enough cash to put in a shed. There's so much money I could have made if I'd have just actually followed what was on that CD. I threw it away because I wasn't making any money. It came with a PDF as well. It wasn't a digital download like you get now. It was actually sent through the post, and I got this PDF. And I remember looking at the PDF. It was 2 pages. And at the bottom of the PDF it said, you must follow it on every signal. Fine, yeah, no worries. But I would be out, I'd be drinking, I'd come back, I'd have a go drunk, it wasn't good, I'd have a headache, I wasn't, good the next day. Then I have to go to work, and I wouldn't do it, I'd be too tired, and I'd come back and, oh no, I can't be bothered. So I wasn't doing it, I'd move my stops, I'd flip-flop about. I'd put £1 a point on there, I'd put £5 a point on there, I'd think, oh, this is the winner, this is the one. I've heard all this about... you get Elliott wave theory, and on this wave you get that, so I'm putting it all on that, and I'd lose it. Obviously, I would lose it. So I've been there, not been there, done that, bought the t-shirt, but I've been where you might be. And my advice is key. If you go to the toilet every morning at 7:05 in the morning for your high-level solids, and that changes, and you now don't go every morning at 7:05, you don't really need to go now till 9:30, and then you miss a day, then a few months later you're missing 3 or 4 days at a time, and you're not going for a high-level solids evacuation for like 3 or 4 days at a time. That's not right. Pop and see someone about that. So in trading, if you're thinking, oh, this is just going to be another loser, and you don't go into that trade, and it turns out it would have been a massive winner, do something about it. Start being consistent. You need to be able to lose the money, and that sounds stupid. If you, I was watching a stream of a guy, I was watching a video on YouTube of a guy who's seems to be a very good trader. And his philosophy, well, he has many, but one of his philosophies is treat every trade that you get into as a losing trade. You're going to lose that money. You're going to give that cash back to the market no matter what. And if you treat it like that, then you'll never lose. Because for me, as soon as I'm in this trade, if I'm in this natural gas trade, I've lost that cash. It's fine. And I don't have to win. I have other revenue streams coming in. I've got a full-time job. Well, I say full-time. I've got a job that pays me. There's a bit of a disconnect issue there. So if you are having connection issues, I think I had a bit of a connection issue, but we're back on. Cool. So yeah, consistency, money, and time. You've got to give trades time to play out. Now that might, and we've been over it, we've just done a quick review on it, and that might sound ridiculous, but I know everybody and your risk. If your strategy tells you to bail, get out. Do what your strategy tells you to do. Talking of which, my strategy tells me to rethink this this trade. I'm not in it yet. and it's gone 12 o'clock. So we are gonna possibly cancel this. Let me just look at off to my. I've got a couple of the screens off to one of my other screens. I've got some other little charts open on my broker. So I'm just looking to see whether it's a doer or not. It's a bit late. I mean, let me look at the Frontino. Okay. So by 12. But anyway, that's the way the cocaine crumbles. So cool. We'll leave that one going. But you've got to give your trades time. You've got to be able to give them enough time to do what they're going to do. If you snatch profits, if this goes up 20 points, and that's for you, let's say that's a 5% gain, and you snatch that 5%, and you snatch another 5%, and you snatch another 5%, great, you've made 20%, but the next trade might be a loser, and you'll lose your full loss. The next one could be a loser. You'll lose a full loss. And if you do the silly things like moving your stops, like I used to do, or if you flip-flop about and do a different strategy, have a retracement strategy on a fib, or you have a support and resistance strategy when you've just got in on a break of a high strategy, it's not going to do you any favours. And it's not going to help your account. You have to let the trade play out. So whilst I'm now in and we're waiting for the DAX to faff about and give us a signal, I'm going to get rid of... I'm going to mute myself for a starter. Get rid of this audio and I shall return. Why is my live stream offline? Oh, it's back on again. Bleeding thing. On, off, on, off. Anyway, I'm going to mute me, change the audio, see you in a minute. I'm back, baby. Thanks to whoever that was on YouTube who just subscribed. Thanks very much. If I could work out, because I'm new to the streaming malarkey, if I could work out how to see who that was, I'll give you a shout out. Jump onto Twitch if you're still watching. I'll be on there at 9 o'clock tonight. We'll do a quick breakdown of this trade on the natural gas, which, yeah, we're in. We're still waiting for it to give me a full signal to move my stop up. And we're waiting for the DAX to give me some kind of entry. I mean, it's not faffed about, it's not done anything, has it? If anyone's interested, it's just slowly trickling around. There's no signal. Well, it's not giving me a signal anyway. If I pop down to the 15-minute, it's got nothing. It's giving me nothing. It would be a slow fall down. You know, this isn't the wave. It would be a slow fall down to maybe the monthly. Maybe when the American markets open, they might want to take it north or south a bit quicker. You know, that's what we tend to see. And overnights don't do anything. Overnights do very little until it's time to hand over back over to the UK. I say hand over. It's not as if they trade with each other and they hand it over between the American markets, Asian markets, you know, Aussie markets, and then back to Europeans. It's not like that. Well, I'm hoping it's not like that, but you can definitely see a difference in the volatility, the volume, and the trading direction in different parts of the world. So for the DAX, we're just waiting for that to give us a signal. The natural gas one, whilst it's up, it's only up 2 points. It's not a major move. Back onto the hourly, we would need it to break above 2431. Let me put a spike on that 2431. I'd need it to get past that in order to be more confident in its approach. And then if it does go past the 2460, I'd be looking for it to get to the monthly highs at around about 2531. So you know, keep following, keep watching, and if you're interested, I'll be able to tell you why I'm moving my stop if I do, why I take partial profits if I do. But this might be one of those long-term swings that turns out to be something I should have just left to go on forever. Hopefully up to 2678, which I doubt it for now, but it might do. If you look on the daily, it's certainly creeping upwards, and yes, the stochastic is oversold, and you've got a bit of divergence between this low on the stochastic and this price, and this low on the stochastic because it's crossed, and this price. A little bit of divergence, but that means nothing. That's just for a bit of confluence. That's for a little bit of help in your decision making. For instance, this high on the stochastic here, if I can get my shaky hand to stop moving, this high correlates with this price, so here, and then price moved higher, and so did the stochastic, obviously. So stochastic was higher here than it was here, and then the low of the stochastic was here, and it's exactly the same here, but the price is a bit higher. But what happened was price moved up, it rocketed down, touched the monthly, the weekly, but the stochastic was still high, so then that moved up, So we're looking for that kind of move now. We're looking for that kind of divergence in the stochastic and price, and we want it to keep on pushing. We want it to get to 2567. In fact, I might put a limit order on now, actually, to 2659, around about there. I doubt we'll get there today. Look at that. Well, how many days is that? That'll be, blimey. Let's go for that. So from that high there to today, it was 25 days. So I'm not looking for this to be over and done within the day. But I do want it to go from there to there, so that's going to be roughly 238 points in, if we said 25 days, that would be, wouldn't be anything to sniffle at. So yeah, a little recap. We're in on the natural gas. We're waiting for the DAX to give us some kind of signal. Let me move that about a bit so I can see what's happening. Excuse me. Nothing on the dollar yen, and gold is, well, I'm not entirely sure. I would have imagined that it's going to pop down, and we've got a high, a lower low, a lower high, another lower low, a lower high. I would have imagined this to be the next phase of a lower low, but you can't predict the market. Anything can happen, absolutely anything. So I've no idea what's going on with gold. With natural glass, we know what's happening with that. We're in, we'll see where that takes us. Oil, as we were saying before, if you were listening earlier on in the stream or the video, depending whether you're watching it now or later, if this comes up and touches the 1 hourly now resistance, because price is below it, I might be looking for a reason to enter short. If I took if I go to an hourly, it looks as though we have divergence between this price and that price, and on a daily it looks like it might want to continue down. Sorry, on the hourly it's looking like it wants to continue down, and on the daily it does look like it's going to fall over. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little bit of I'm going to do a bit of recon seal, and I might put a trade on that. I'm just going to go dark for a minute, and I'll be back with you in a second. I'm saying that because I've got to go onto I've got to go onto my laptop and a different screen to do some faffing about. I might even put this on my own intraday account, and possibly on the small account, but we'll see. We'll see what's happening. Back in a minute. I'm back. I've got to change that audio as well. That's mad. Let's go for that one. Yeah, that's better. Okay, so you've probably seen on the screen now. I have changed a few things about on my personal. Well, this is all personal, but on my other account, I've put a sell order on, and at the same time thought, sod it, I might as well put a sell order on for Brent on the small account. So it's only 25 pence a point. That's my broker's lowest that I can do on this account, on the small account. 2, it's got to get in, or it's got to enter below this low. It's got to force its way back below, and in between S1 and S2 it'll be towards the end of the day. It's got a week to keep faffing about, and that take profit is there intermittently. It'll get moved along with my stop when I get triggered in. I'm guessing this is going to pop up to around about 5942 first, maybe even this resistance, and then fall over on the hourly. But we'll see what's happening. Natural gas back to break even, which is fair enough. You've got to give trades time to play out. So let me move this about down here, and let me move this about down here. I have got several things to do today. One of them is going to be nowhere near my house, so I've got to get myself gone in a minute. I'm going to leave the stream on just in case anybody fancies watching it whilst it's on. The order that I'll leave on there is going to get mental. I know it is, but it's better than not having anything at all. So I've been informed. You can watch these trades in real time. I will possibly download these later and speed them up to go over why or where or when, depending on whether I'm in the trade or not. With this DAX trade, it's not going to go anywhere, is it? It's not. It's just faffing around. So I think what I'll do is I'll swap this around, because I do like the DAX. I'll swap this around with the oil, and we'll see what else we can. No, do you know what? I'll put that back up there. I'll get my daughter's face out of the way. I'll leave it like this. I'm sure better work it out. We want the DAX to show us something. We want natural gas to continue on up. And if I get triggered into this trade for the with Brent crude, I want it to fall down and keep on falling for a long time to come. Anyway, I'll leave you guys to it. If anyone is watching this, it says there is, but I can't see who's watching. If anyone's watching this, if you can tell me how I see who's watching, please let me know, and I'll try and find that out for you all. give you a shout out if I can. So anyway, until I've come back from doing what I need to do, I'll give this audio another change out. We'll go for Triumph again. That was okay. Bit of a weird beat to it, but you know. And I'll speak to you guys when I get back. It might not be until after 4 or 5 o'clock, but thanks for watching so far. Thanks for sticking around. Let me know if you've got any comments, questions, queries, points to raise, and all that jazz. Leave it on the background, have it on your phone, whatever you want to do. You'll be the first ones to see whether my trade works out or not, and it doesn't really matter. You have to follow your strategy consistently. You got to do the same thing every time. Every time. Regardless of whether you think it's going to be a winner or not, you do the same thing every time. So until I'm back, I'll turn the music up ever so slightly. Until I'm back, I'll catch you later. This is Mad Trading. Stay mad. I am back, people. That was a grueler. Yeah, it's a bit wet out here where I'm living. Anywho, so yeah, we're still in this natural gas trade. I'm sure you know that if anyone's actually listening. Yeah. But anyway, excuse me. The Brent trade hasn't kicked off yet. I can't actually remember when it was left. It must have been 12ish. Must have been. We're not moving anywhere really, are we? We've come down, nearly got in at 11. Yeah, slowly trickled back up again. So my Brent crude trade hasn't kicked off yet. Let me configure that. So set entry short. See chart, just so I can notate this and stick it on Twitter. Small trade. Looking for a 1-to-1 for account build up. Boom. Yeah, so if it does go in, I've got a 34 quid stop and a 34 quid take profit. It's not a lot, but that would be a percentage winner. That's not, we're not doing it to or I'm not doing it, should I say, to do the money side of life. This is a percentage winner. This is to help people see what it is you've got to do with a small account in order to build those profits up. And then when you get to the ability to put 10, 15, 20 pound a point on, then you can do whatever the hell you like, because if you're profitable now on a small account, the only thing that's stopping you going from £1,000 to £1 million account is your mindset and the way that you set things up. Start early, get things set up, and your psychology will follow. It's not. It really isn't difficult. It's just our minds tell us that it is. It's that time of day. I've got to show the disclaimer. I'm going to bung this on for a very short period of time. Open up a couple of spreadsheets and I'll be back with you. Stay mad. that's annoying, but I love it. It's like it drags me in. I don't know why. Anyway, take personal responsibility for your trading. Do not blame me. And although this is a good tune, I'm changing it in a minute. I'll let it faff on for a little bit longer. I'm just setting out my, or updating my trade log, should I say, for the small account. Maths was never my best topic, and it eludes me currently. So I'm just going to pause this and scream. Okay, I'm black. Move that up there. So, just as a matter of disclosure, full disclosure, this is my small account. It's a thou that I threw in whilst I was at work, actually. And Ron, thanks Ron, and his boyfriend, they, or he, should I say, Ron, kind of persuaded me to help others with a small account, because you can't start trading unless you are a robot, unless you're like me and you have Asperger's, and things are, it's easy to do repetitive things. You can't throw 25, 35, 50 grand in an account and trade for the first time. It's ridiculous. You can't do it. I would have suggested to do a demo account. Pardon you, that was very unprofessional. Hold on, stand by, caller. Yeah. Make of that noise as you will. I'll let you work out what it is I'm drinking. But yeah, I would have said a demo account would have been best to start off with. Some people don't like demo accounts. I don't know why. Maybe it's because the realism isn't there. Well, if you're at your computer screen every day, 7:30 till 4:30, it doesn't really matter whether it's a demo account or a real account. But how you do treat your demo account is how you should treat your real account. And what I mean is, if you're like, it's just money, it's just demo cash, it's no biggie, then that's what you need to be like for the real money. Hence why I'm not even bothering looking at the charts. I've been away. I had to get something for one of my children. They don't know that I've got it for them. It's only a small thing, but I can only get it from a certain shop, and I won't mention the shop because they're not paying me either. So anyway, so I had to go out and get that. But whilst I was there, I got myself something else, and I had a mooch about, and I looked about at some other stuff, and I had to get out of the big brown box called a house. Anyway, go see real people, real life. So that's why I'm not looking at the charts. I'm not bothered. It'll either continue on, I'll get a signal to get out and either make or lose money. It's no biggie. It's not. That's not the issue. But Ron asked me, or persuaded me, should I say, to do this small account thing where you build up an account from the ground upwards to a point where you could then start to put some real money down on trading. And again, this is a guy that I've watched on YouTube. He's got the right idea. He's obviously a very good trader. I don't know him personally, just from his YouTube channels, but he's got the right mindset. He says all the right things, and his videos are very good. And I won't mention it because he might not like the fact that I'm mentioning him on YouTube. But his approach is, when you back test, you need to back test at least a year, and I'm saying exactly the same. It's got to be at least a year's worth of back testing. If you don't know what back testing is, then you need to, research that. Go onto YouTube, have a look, see at that. Need some help? Email me, madtrading@yahoo.com. I'll be more than happy to help you out. I'm not charging for it. Get in at the doorstep. Don't get in on halfway up the stairs. Anyway, at least a year's worth of back testing. And if that back testing says that for 20 trades, out of 20 trades, you are likely to lose 4 in a row, then consider every trade a loser for at least the next 4. Just say, it's all right, I'm going to do exactly what I normally do every time anyway, because I need to be consistent. But I know that these next 4 trades are going to be losers. And if it's a winner, you start again. Boom, it's all right, I've made 53 points or whatever. I've made 178 points. But the next 3 are going to be losers. The next 4 are going to be losers. If your backtesting says that it's a 50-50 split, you have a winner, a loser, a winner, a loser, a winner, a loser, then every time you have a win, expect a loser. If you win, bonus. Next one, there's got to be a loser. You start again. The mindset has to be there. And it's not about the money. Look at this spreadsheet. So I traded this live on Twitch. There was breaks. I stopped it. I restarted it because it was just going on forever. But my DAX, well, not my DAX system, the system got me in on DAX. And this is just the hourly, the time frame that I'm in. The 15-minute is when I might actually get into it, but it might set up on the daily, the 4 hourly, the hourly. So this one isn't how it's set up. This is when I got in. And although 10% of £1,000 isn't 90 quid, I understand that. This is just, you can't. I've taken this from another what's the word? Another spreadsheet that I use. So don't worry about the percentage, but I put £90 down, £90 on a spread bet for the DAX to go long. I entered there, and for several reasons, I put my stop loss 200 points away, which meant that initially it was 50 pence a point. I know it says 30 there, but initially it was 50 pence a point. I got out there. That's the points that I won, 178. It was a win. Got me that much. That's the RR ratio. So it wasn't even a 1-to-1 yet. Same trade. So I had 50 to start with. I took 30 off. That leaves me 20. Continued on. I moved my stop to 12,300. And I got out of that trade at 12,461. Took those 10 pence per point trade off, and that was 254 points at 10 pence a point. That gave me that amount. That gave me that risk reward ratio. And in the remainder, the last 10% that was there, I took at 12,478. Not a massive difference, but it gave me an extra few pennies. And it's not about the pennies, it's about the risk reward and the total fund increase or decrease. And whilst these are winners, yes, there will be losers. I guarantee it. Anyway, so the overall increase is that the fund has increased by 10.61%. That's massive. If you walked into a hedge fund manager's office and said, dude, I can make 10% a month on anything you want, not only would they say, fair enough, we'll sell it at a 4% increase, it's a high yield, high risk fund, you can take 5%, I'll give you $1 million, crack on. You would be creaming yourself. You would literally start to drool and want to shake his big toe. And he would want to do the same, because that's very, very rare. I made 10% profit on the starting fund on one trade that I turned into 3 mini trades, and now I'm on this natural gas. So you've seen we're in the natural gas trade. Let me move this out of the way so we can see it. We're in this natural gas trade, and we got in on this candle here as it popped up to 2415, and it's only up 5 points, you know, no biggie, it's pound a point. So on this one, got in at 2415 long. My stop is 2315. That's 100 points away. I'm risking £100, which isn't 1%. I know, a pound a point. And when it closes, or if I take partial profits, I'll add the rest of it in. This bit gets updated automatically. That bit gets updated automatically. I put win or loss, so W or L, and the profit loss gets worked out itself. I have to put the X. EX is exit, EN is entry, SL is stop loss. That should be a capital L. And the stop loss point should have a, because we're British, should have a space in between the L and the P. So let me just save that. So on this small account, and this is a small account, it's a micro, might even be a macro account. This is tiny. You can't live off £106 for the week. Now bear in mind, I only started trading this on Thursday. Wednesday I was not able to trade, let's say. Started Thursday, but it was in the background. I was trading this. I'd set a trade to go live on the DAX, left it alone, woke up on the Friday, and it had got me in. Yes, if I'd have left it all alone, I'd have made 272.1 and I literally, this is how bad I am at maths. I've got to use old calculator. So 271.1 times 0.50 would have made £135 55 pennies. But minus, what did I make? 106.15. So I lost out on £26.40. But I can feel people's sighs. Oh God, it's only 26. That's like, that's nothing. That's 2 packets of fags. That's 3 pints and a packet of pork scratchings. That's nothing. Come on, man. You know, you could spit that. That's no. I know. It's not about the money. It's about the percentage. It's about the percentage. So that in a percent would be what, another 4%, 3% maybe? I'm not entirely sure. I've no idea. I'm no good with maths. I'm not going to try and work it out. And that risk reward ratio would have been even higher, maybe. If I'd risked 180 points and got nearly 280 back, that's closer to 2R. Closer to 2R. Anyway, currently we're up 10.6% with an RR ratio. That's a risk reward ratio of 1.17. And over the long term, I've only got 20 here, but I'll extend that because I'm going to do 20 in the week and a bit that I'm here. That's a given. The RR ratio at the end of the trading sesh, By that I mean over the month, the 6 month, the year, the 3 year, however long it takes me to either double this account or turn it into a account where you can comfortably, trade with, I say proper money, it's real money, but I mean with actual day-changing money. That RR ratio has to be positive. It's got to be above 0, but it's got to be, where's my thing? Above 5. Let me format cells. It's custom text. Let's try that. +5. It's got to be at least +5. If it's not +5 on the RR ratio, pointless. And that's from me doing 2-3 years maybe of checks, and on my swing trading strategies, which might be of interest to 1 or 2 people. That is all I need for the year, and that will give me a decent return. In other words, all I need is 5R return on, and that's just on one instrument. So if I did a swing trading strategy on the DAX, then if I get +5 at the end of the year, that has made a very significant amount of return. And in no way does a RR ratio relate to the percentage increase of your fund. You could have a +25R risk reward ratio and only make 3%, because it depends on your risk, depends on what you've put on. So if you've put on, let's say on here you went for a breakout strategy above here, you can only see this side of the chart, and you put your trade on here, and for whatever reason, and it went long, that would be a stupid decision anyway, and you lost 1R, you're 1R down, but that could have been £100, that could have been £30, that could have been £300. And then the next one you do is you do a breakout strategy on this one, or you do a breakout on this major move, and it pops up and you make 2R. It's great, but that 2R might have only been, you might have only put 0.5% on, because you lost some money there, so you had less than your original amount to use. So 2R could only be 0.75 increase. I hope that makes some kind of sense. It made a little bit of sense to me. But the risk reward ratio bears no resemblance to, has no correlation with the percentage increase in your account. That percentage increase has everything to do with the amount of starting capital and the percentage that you're willing to risk. And I know that 90 quid is not 1% of £1,000, because 1% is 10 quid. I know that. So that's close to 10%. So if we did 1,000 minus 10%, that's 100 quids. So those first 3, although they're the same trades, that first trade was only 9%. This trade is a full 10%, and that's ridiculous, because that means I can only lose 10 times before this account gets blown, which I've done many times before. Not for a long time, but I have done it many times before. So whilst that's stewing in the background, let me save that and move that over to that screen there. Keep it out of the way. Close that one. Yeah, so updates currently in natural gas. It's not doing too well. Brent seems to be falling over. You would think that oil and gas are correlated, wouldn't you? You'd think that oil is correlated to natural gas. It's not really. I mean, it might be in the grand scheme of things, but at the minute it really isn't. The price of oil on the spot market at the minute is 59.04 or 05, 59.05 ish, and that's per barrel of oil. So, and that'd be British. That's British crude oil. That comes from the British Brent crude oil. So that comes from the Brent fields, and it's basically a name given to the oil from Britain, because Brent was a standard name of oil, of the oil industry. So I believe. So whilst oil is falling over and looks as though it may well continue to dip on the hourly, we're looking at the 15-minute now. We are set to go short if it breaks the low of this. On the natural gas, we want it to go rocketing up. It's had a big down move. People have been taking profit. It's got back up to this high. It might even take it to that high again and fall over, which is probably what it's going to do. But I have to do what my strategy tells me to do. It's not, I don't get to pick and choose. This is the whole point. You have to be consistent. You have to do the same thing consistently. So if I lose 1 hour, if I lose my money on this trade, so be it. If I lose money on the next trade, so be it. At some stage, I'm going to get a move that could be equal to or greater than this move. Although I might have been stopped out a few times, but I would have possibly been back in on some breakouts. And that's what you have to do. You have to consistently do the same thing day in, day out. Going dark for a second, I've had a couple of texts come through, although no one texts anymore, do they? I've had a couple of WhatsApps come through from some people I really should talk to. So I'm just going to reply to these and I'll be back on in a minute. Stay mad. And whilst I'm here, I'm going to change that music. This is all free to use music that I'm using from YouTube. What was that one called? Let's see what this one is. I've got to get some more, haven't I? I'll download some more later. So yeah, DAX. Well, see, that's doing what I didn't think it would do, and I'm not one to say that I can predict or will predict markets. So Mondays are weird, aren't they? But from a when can I get in and trade? There's no signal been presented to me yet, so I'm not in on anything at the minute. From the DAX, that is. Obviously, I'm in on the natural gas. But the Germany 30, I love it. I love the Germany 30. There are people who don't like the Germany 30. I don't really understand why. I think it's a fantastic instrument to trade. It moves so fluently, or when it does move, it moves so fluidly and fluently that you can almost predict it. Should I say that? No, probably not. You can't actually predict it, but you can almost predict it. Oh, what's going to happen? Just for those of you that are either new or haven't really done trading before, or if you have and you're still losing money, let's have a quick look at the DAX side of life. Let's put a trend line where we think let's go for the hourly. Let's put a trend line where we think the majority of the price went to. Well, it went to here, didn't it? It got up to the top of that big red candle. Yes, it spiked through. I personally like the candle body, not the wick. The wick isn't confirmation. The wick is rejection, or the wick is a short, sharp move to whichever side. You see a spinning top, people normally say, "Oh, that means it's turning over." Yes, yeah. If you see a Thor's hammer or a hammer candle, then it's doing this, it's doing that, it's doing the next thing. Yes, but that's not where price rested. The candle didn't make it up there. The candle made it to here, and that's the important bit. So we've got price at 12,524, and let's go back a bit. Price hasn't made it up that far just yet, and it did make it close to it, but if we put another line roughly here, 12,471 should intersect with something. So in between of that, let's bang another one in there. Boom. Let's go back to today. You can see that at this moment in time on the hourly chart, price popped up, it touched 12,524, it broke straight through 12,497, 96, it broke through 12,483, moved back up again to the two blue lines, tipped over, broke straight through 12,483, and this line here that we put on last, it touched it and stopped directly at it on 12,471. The next candle opened there, went up but shot back down again, and then closed here. And this next red candle at 8 o'clock this morning opened up below it, wicked into it and touched it, and then wicked back away again. So price tells us a story. Price tells us that if this price slowly creeps up and either wicks up and past it, or the candle body itself stops at 12,471, there's a very high chance that it's going to fall over. When you look at the daily, it's not looking bullish, it's looking bearish, it's looking as though it wants to go down. And for me, that's down to a 50% retracement of the Friday candle, 12,335, and a bounce off it. It might even just fall straight through it. I've absolutely no idea. I don't want to predict. I don't dare predict the markets. That's a fool's game. It's a fool's game. is that. So back on the hourly, if it pops up and touches that, if it pops up and touches that, let me move that, move text. Pops up and it touches this 12,471. I might be looking for a short opportunity on a shorter, smaller time frame. Let's say the 50. Let's move that to there. The 50, the 15-minute time frame. So it nearly wicked it. It didn't really get past this wick here. It nearly wicked it. Main body touches that. Even if the wick goes up to 2,483, no biggie. I'll be looking for it to fall over and come back down to at least this monthly low. So 12,374, 12,471. You know, that's nearly 100 points, but that's not what we would get. And that's a short-term scalp. And if you looked on the 5 minute, I mean, the 5 minute is even worse, if that's a word. It might make it up, it might not, but it definitely looks bearish to me. It definitely looks like it wants to fall over and come back down. In fact, I'm going to leave on the 15 minute, and from a you know, a show and tell point of view, I'm going to leave that there, and I might even stick a trade on as and when that touches. Brent crude not doing a great deal. If we don't get in, we don't get in. Gold has done very little. Yeah, we broke out of this this trend line. I was trying to say to people, you can't work off of that. If you'd have gone short when it touched that, you'd have been in negative for a while. You still might have been in negative for a while, and now it's falling over again. It does look like it's going to go bearish, and on the daily looks like it's falling over, but you don't know how far down it's going to go. Bear in mind, you need to have a reason for entry, you need to have a reason for exit, and where your stop goes. There's got to be a reason for entry, a reason for exit, and where your stop goes. I would have imagined that it was going to touch this pivot. It might even break through it slightly and go onto this 1 hourly support now, because it broke through the resistance, and then bounce back off it and go back up. The fact that there's a daily resistance here and a 1 hourly resistance here within, what's that, 87 and 94 in less than 10 points, that's a range. Now let's look at an hourly. The range would be here. So if it were to break below this range, I can't excuse me, I can't do it any better. Let me see if I can do a pitchfork on it. Is it there? Okay, no, it's not there. But let me get rid. Don't worry about pitchforks. You don't need to know it. It's not an issue. But if it were to break, let's say there was an imaginary line along here, and if that were to break down below it and retest that line, that would be a good shorting opportunity, certainly now. But we're not in that. We're not waiting for that. We're not doing that. We are on a small account, maybe on a bigger account I would, but on a small account we can only trade the money we have. So for these two trades that I've set up, certainly for this natural gas that I'm in, and it's just flopping about, it's not doing a huge amount, that has taken up at least £100 on the trade, and then more so on the margin required. And then for me to put this short crude on, Brent crude order on, I've got the £34, which is nothing, but the £34 on the trade, and then there's more. It's around about. In fact, can I find out how much that is? Let me look. See on my. Right, so that was. Blimey, that was £147 just to put that trade on. Yeah, £147 just to put that trade on. That's in margin, and then I needed the 34.25 on top of that, which means with 147.40. In fact, let's do it. Let's do it. Because I'm stupid. 1,000 minus 147.40 minus 34. 34.25. So that's what's left in the pot just from putting on a, and I'm not even in the trade, but just from putting an order on for Brent. That's what I've got left. And now let's have a look at ding ding ding. Let's have a look at natural gas. So where's my natural gas debris? Go there, have some of this down here. So that was blimey, that's even worse. So £243 on the nose just to put this trade on. So minus £243 plus the £100 on the trade minus 100 is £475 in the pot to trade. So I am already 50% down. If both of these go against me and I lose both, I'm only going to lose the 134.25 or it was, but the margin increases if you go into negative equity, which is something you might not have known. But if you're losing, if the Brent trade opens up and it immediately goes against me 60 points, my margin increases, and if I don't have enough money in the margin pot to cover it, it closes our trade. And it's indiscriminate. It won't just close the best trade that's in profit. It won't close a trade that you wanted to get rid of anyway. It will just close that trade. It will just close it. It doesn't care. My broker doesn't, they're not going to look after me. They're not going to look after me. They're just going to close it. I'm getting little reports here on my broker. Let me get rid of that and that. Alerta. Alarma. I saw alarma. Let me have a look at this. Right, deal, good. So I'm getting little reports that the majority of the guys that I speak to are all mentioning that natural gas is going to be falling over soon, but we don't, that's not it's not my way of trading. I have an entry point and I have an exit point. If I don't make a profit or percentage, or if it's a negative RR, then it's a negative RR. It's no biggie. I'm not bothered. But I'm just reading their comments now on my on the private chat through Discord, and it's kind of it's quite funny. They're not really listening to reason. One of them is a discretionary trader of the highest caliber, I might add, who I think about 7-8 months ago, might have even been longer. It was probably No, yeah, it was. It was probably Christmas last year. He denounced, or whatever it's called, where you no longer acknowledge it and you no longer want to use it. YouTube, Twitch, all media streaming sites, and Facebook and Twitter, and he just denounced it. Said, "No, nothing to do. I don't want to do it." He shut himself off in his own little world, and fair play to him. He's doing extremely well. Extremely well. It's a shame that his personal life has not worked out the same, but his trading life has worked out fantabulously. But he's not really listening to major, he's not really listening to other people's screams. He, like myself, is just telling people to bite it, and he's going to go and do his own thing anyway, which is me. I'm following my system, and be damned with you. I say he denounced all social media, except for a couple of things. His broker, who either love him or hate him. Not really sure whether brokers like us or hate us. His broker obviously needs to get in touch with him, needs to talk to him. So it's emails, number one. Number two, WhatsApp. And number three, Discord. Because why not? It's Discord. Discord's great. Let's see if we're close to a entry on Brent. No, we're not. And anywhere near a signal on the DAX. No, we are not. So I'm probably gonna have a quick look, see if I can get some different music going on the stream. Try and get some of this free to use music, and I'll be back ever so shortly. Just another little update. I've got to leave at there's another text there. I've got to leave at around about 2:30, so only 10 minutes or so. I've got to go and do some extra bits and bobs now. Some things have cropped up, but that's the good thing about this. You set and forget, you walk away. If you're not there when a signal comes along and you haven't already set up, you just walk away. You don't have to take every trade. If your strategy tells you if you miss a trade or two, then you can't work it. It won't work. You've got to stop. Then that strategy is either not for you, or you cannot use that strategy. If you can miss the odd signal or two, which you can generally, certainly in my strategy, then do that. Do life. Life is more important. You have to do life, and if you don't do life, what's the point in making kebab cash? So let me pause this. I'll try and get some more music, and I shall be back ever so shortly. Bye bye now. Okay, I'm back. Okay, so let me just change this bump. Let's go with that one. Right, I'm out of here, people. I'm going to leave these up and running. You'll be able to see if I make any changes on the fly. So if I'm on the iPad or the phone whilst I'm out, you'll be able to see if I add anything, take anything away, open things, close things, and all that good jism. Pardon me. Oh, I forgot about my tinny. Let me have a quick slurp. Can I drive? Yeah. Anyway, I'll leave this on. Have a listen to the wonderful music, and I shall return. Not sure exactly when. Probably around about the 5 o'clock mark. But stream will be left on. You better see how the trades get on in live in real time, and if I get taken into this short on Brent crude, and if we make it on the long on natural gas. Take care, squidgies, and if you didn't already know, I'm on Twitch tonight at 9 with a wash-up of the trades taken today and a look ahead for that night and tomorrow. And I'll be popping up a few more videos over the next couple of days for your viewing pleasure. So from me, Mad Trader, I'd like to bid you a farewell. Later, people.